For the transcript, Joshua Shaw, College Hockey News, for any of the players or even for Mike, what have you guys done in your free time in Boston? Have you tried to take the T and have you gotten lost?
Ryan.
No, we've honestly just kind of been hanging out as a team, just enjoying each other at the hotel. You know, just a special moment to be here and share this with this group of guys. So, you know, I think just getting to enjoy that together is what we're focused on right now.
Benton, do you know what the T is?
Yeah, I mean, I've been on the East Coast for a little bit, so I know what the T is, and yeah, so I haven't gotten lost on it yet, though.
Andre, is there a T in Prague?
Is it like a subway?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a subway,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
but a little bit less confusing, I dare to say.
Yeah. Yours might be better. Yeah, that's a good point. Hey, Steve, you've high-fived your wife. What about getting lost on the T?
Hey, you know, I haven't gotten lost when my son goes to Northeastern, so he's educated me a little bit when I've been able to see him when we've gotten on the T and just been educated.
All right, Jess.
Jess Myers from the Rink Live. Benton, Durham's about an hour from here, I understand, but with your experience in Hockey East, are you kind of like the local guide out here? And just tell us about, you know, the decision to go to New Hampshire and then to come back to Minnesota.
Yeah, I mean, had a unique opportunity to be able to go out and play 4 years out there right after high school, which you know, was a great time. I consider it a second home, definitely. And then with COVID hitting, we kind of got word that we might be getting another year of eligibility, and I had talks kind of already with the Mankato staff the first time around being recruited, and those talks kind of picked up when I went in the transfer portal again. And it kind of just, you know, all fit right into place. I had a good Zoom with Coach Hastings, and I think I committed to him about 20 minutes later. So it all went pretty quick, and, you know, I couldn't be more happier with the decision and the ability to get to play in the last game of the year tomorrow.
Jimmy?
Thank you, Jim Conley from US College Hockey Online. Mike, two of the best offenses in the country, top offenses, but it feels like after last night's game, both of these teams are almost more prepared to play great defense. Can you just talk about why that has to kind of prevail in a tournament like this?
Well, first of all, you know, what you do with a puck is one thing, but it's just as important what you're doing without the puck so you can get it back. And both teams, you watch Denver in watching the amount of tape that we have, they're about as, you know, detailed as a team that I've seen with their sticks and getting back on top, and what they did last night, yesterday late afternoon to an incredibly talented Michigan team. Last night when we got behind in the game, I thought it was still really important that we continued to defend so they didn't extend the lead, and then try and, when we didn't have the puck, get it back so we could get on offense. And so I just think there's two sides of the game, and you've got to be committed to both sides of that, I think, to be effective at this time. And that's why I think both teams moved on with the opportunity for Saturday.
Guys, what time to shut her down? It's kind of a late night last night.
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, not much sleep, unfortunately, but get a nap in today and we'll be ready to go.
All right, good. Randy?
Randy Johnson, Minneapolis Star Tribune. Mike, with the transfer portal, how much does that change your job, and how much time do you and your coaching staff spend on things like that?
You know what, I think that's ever evolving. Right now, you know, as we've asked the young men to be focused on what's going on today, they are. We have to continue to do that while we're keeping an eye on what's going on in the portal, because there's other teams that are involved in that right now. And we've been blessed with, you can see the impact that Benton has had. David Cillier, Josh Grohl, all three of those young men have had an impact on our program in a very short period of time. And I think a lot of that has to do with the makeup of the human beings and the young men themselves. But they've come in with the idea that we've got to earn everything that we're going to get. And I just think that the portal is continuing to become more and more part of processes of structuring a roster. Now, you know, we've got our own philosophies on what we're going to do with that, and hopefully we can stay true to those, but I do think we need to continue to be flexible in our mindset of what's going to happen moving forward.
Dan?
Dan Rubin from U.S. College Hockey Online. For coaching any of the players, you guys have nearly had 20-odd straight wins coming into even tomorrow. So is there a science or is there a rhythm to it where when you're going through a game, even if it's avoiding a loss versus picking up a win over this whole last couple months where it's just kind of started generating good vibes, or is there a specific science and rhythm to how you have to approach that as you continue winning?
Ryan, we'll start with you.
I don't really think any of the guys have thought about the streak at all. I think we're just focused on playing a good 60 minutes every time we play. You know, there hasn't really been any chatter at all about kind of the streak we're on. We're just focused on playing good hockey and playing to our identity. And I think, you know, we've done that consistently for a while now. And, you know, we need that to continue if we want to have success on Saturday. So,
Andre, what else you have on that?
I believe the big part of, making sure that every single game we just give it 100%, and our ability to win hockey games is a big part of that. You know, even it happened yesterday. We went down 0-1, and there was no panic. There was just confidence in the details that we are good at, and just keeping to our game. And, you know, if we do that, we will be successful and we will win hockey games.
Hasty?
Yeah, and again, I'm relying on the group that's inside those walls. I will say this, there is a difference when you're playing towards the end of your season and it's a Friday or a Saturday night and you know you're not packing your bags if it doesn't go well. So there's a definite difference there, but I will tell you, I'll echo Ryan, he's being real honest. I haven't heard it. I haven't heard our guys talk about it when we've sat down with the leadership group and talked about planning our week and what we're gonna do. That really hasn't come up, whether it's been through the coaches and definitely the players. So they've done a good job at just continuing to turn the page and move on to the next one, and that's what I think they're planning on doing on Saturday.
Okay, right over here.
Chris Long from KSTP in the Twin Cities, Benton. Since you sat that one out, I'll bring you into this one. Just how cool is it with everything else that's going on the ice that you're going to maybe get to see Dryden win the Hobie Baker Award today? I'm not saying he will or not, but it's just got to be such a great little cherry on top of everything this weekend for you guys, knowing how important he is to you guys as a team.
Yeah, I mean, Dryden, he means everything to this team and to this program. Not only is he the best goalie in college hockey, he might be one of the most humble guys in college hockey. Comes to the rink every day with the same attitude regardless of what's going on. And he and our other two goalies, they just go out and they absolutely compete every practice and every game. And, you know, it's crazy what he brings to the team and to the community especially. There's always an extra little roar at the rink once Dryden's name gets called. And, you know, he's worked for everything that he's gotten throughout his college career, and it's, you know, been an absolute pleasure being able to play with him for this year.
Hasty, what's the schedule like for today?
You know what, the guys will be here, they should be here by now. And we're gonna go out for a little loop and shoot for probably 20, 25 minutes and get a drip. I know the guys don't want any coaching going on, so we'll try and stay out of the way and let them get their work in and then get back to the hotel, and the staff's got some work to do, and these guys have got some rest to get. Also want them to be able to get back and spend some time with their families. We've had, and some friends. Now, not too much of it, but there's a lot of people that have taken the time and spent a lot of money to come out and support these young men, and so we want to give them a little bit of that time, and then when they get their heads off the pillow tomorrow, be real focused on what's going to happen on Saturday.
Okay, over here.
Kevin Dudley with the Mankato Free Press. This is for Ryan. Ryan, I noticed at the end of your guys' off-ice warm-up yesterday, you all threw your hats in the middle. I know that's what you guys did, you know, during the delay in the CCHA championship game. Is that kind of something that started with that? And maybe talk about that game galvanizing your team and helping you deal with adversity like you did surrendering that first goal last night.
No, that's just something we all kind of do. I don't know. That started before I was here. Everybody just loves to have fun in that circle before we break off for on ice warm up. But yeah, I think that game really helped us yesterday. You know, the game goes into overtime, and you know it's kind of something we're all warmed up, and we're just kind of waiting for that game to end. So it was kind of a similar situation. You know, we just had to keep our heads focused and just relax and be ready to go for whenever that game was going to end. And I felt like it translated well. You know, we started well. We didn't get the first goal, but you know I felt like we were playing good hockey through that first 20 minutes, and you know that's a testament to the group for just staying dialed and being ready to go on the puck drop.
All right, John.
John Powers, Boston Globe, for Mike. Several schools, Wisconsin, Gophers come to mind, won their first title here. What would it mean for you guys to win in a place that has been, basically synonymous with college hockey for, over 100 years?
First of all, again, I told you my son goes to Northeastern, so when we came out and we were visiting some places, David Quinn was still at BU and was able to get around. I'd taken my son when we come out and played Princeton, and we visited Harvard, BU, BC, and to see the history, even Northeastern, and the history of the game and what it's meant, and being from Minnesota and seeing some teams come out this direction and be successful. It'd mean everything for this program, just because the work that these young men have put in from day one till today. Boston's been good to us so far. I can tell you when we were out at Worcester, quite a few, and even Providence, it wasn't quite as kind. But we're trying to learn from those bumps in the road, and this journey's been phenomenal with this group from start to where we're at today. But we've still got some work to do.
Worcester. Yeah, I think that sounded pretty good.
Yeah. I'm getting there.
Yep, that's the closest we've got.
Ryan, your dad give you the scouting report on Denver yet, or?
Not really. I've watched a couple games though. So.
You don't need him, I know that. Josh Vina.
Josh Vina, Shaw College Hockey News. I actually remember that game at Princeton. I think I was talking to CJ afterwards. It was a while ago. Yeah. But anyway, Ryan, this is for you, kind of piggybacking off of what Fish said. So what is it kind of like for you to be on the opposite side of the dynamic? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you were in Buffalo with your dad, right? Yeah. So being there, cheering him on, and then last year, and then now where he's watching you play, what has that dynamic been like for you guys?
Yeah, it's really special. He doesn't get a lot of opportunities to watch me play. So, I kind of use it as a motivator for myself to play at the highest level, because I only get so many opportunities a year where he's in the stands. So, I think just being back in Boston, that's the first Frozen Four he ever made it to. And, I was just a little kid back then, and it was really special. That's the first memory I have of Bulldog hockey. So, to be back here in this setting and kind of doing it all over again is kind of full circle, and it's really special that he gets to be here as a fan and just be here with my family and just enjoy it for what it is.
Let's go back over here to the right.
Kevin Dudley with the Mankato Free Press. For Andre, your parents are here to watch you from Prague this weekend. How special is that, and when's the last time they've gotten to see you play? Have they seen you at all this year?
I believe the last time my mom saw me play was at the World Juniors way back in 2020. And it's unbelievable for me. They spend a huge amount of money to come over here and watch me play. And especially I haven't seen them since I got into college, which I'm a sophomore now, so it has been almost 2 years. And it's great, see how much fun they're having in the stands, and talking to the other parents and the Mankato supporters. I'm just glad that I could be the conduit of that fun and enjoyment for them, and I hope I make them proud.
Boston's a great city, but has anybody been to Prague? Oh, if you haven't been there, you better get there. Hey, Andre, that's a pretty good place.
100%, yeah. Support the tourism.
Todd.
Todd Molesky with U.S. College Hockey Online. This is for Mike and any of the players who might want to chime in. The Saturday of the championship game, I've heard, can be a long day just because you want to go. You want to get out there and play. How do you manage that, knowing what could be out there at the end, but trying to stay in the doing what you need to do from getting up to, when you get out for warm-up?
Well, the first thing I'll say is yesterday was a long day. And I've had some pretty good guys, Scott Sandelin being one of them, talking to different guys that have been at a Frozen Four, and then getting to that Saturday game and asking them their experiences. And, even our commissioner, Don Lucia, and talking about what happens. And a lot of things they discuss is those long days. And with us playing the late game yesterday, having the overtime, somebody had mentioned in this room before we had played the noon game, which was difficult for us. They're just different. The guys have been pretty adaptive. They've done a really good job at just managing what's in front of them. And so we backed some things off yesterday when we got up. when we, just to try and get as normal as we could get. And so today, again, we'll get them some rest after a little skate, but then try and get right back into the rhythm of what we do in a game, even though it's going to be a little bit later.
Mr. McDonald's Happy Meal, what is a good start time?
For me? No, I'm a big fan of the later game, so 7 o'clock. It's kind of nice. Obviously, the game is at 8 tomorrow, I think, but that's 7 Central Time. So I mean, it's kind of on par with what we're used to.
Andre, what do you got? What time do you want to start?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's I know this team will be ready no matter what time. It's everyone on this team has gone through every possible situations. We played in the midget hockey where we had to be at the rink at 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning, and then we grew up and slowly pushing the game time later. But I believe that we have played this game for so long that everyone has their core habits, that if they go through them, they will be ready for the game. And, I have uttermost confidence in my teammates that everyone will be ready no matter when we play.
Ryan, do you care what time we're playing?
Nope.
No? Be ready to go. All right. Jess?
Jess Myers from the Rink Live. Mike, I was thinking back to 10 years ago, we were in Tampa at the Frozen Four. It was 2012, and a lot of speculation about who was going to get the Mankato job, which means it's been a decade that you've been on this. Can you just, was this part of a timeline, or did you have, any kind of detailed, thought laid out as to what stages your program would take, and how does, being in the national championship game 10 years later fit with your plan?
Yeah, I don't think there's, for us in our side of the business, I don't think there's ever a plan that's longer than, the year you're in. Now again, I know the administration doesn't want to hear that. You're supposed to build for long periods, and when I sat down with Kevin Beisman and our administration at the beginning, it was, we were going to try and build something that was sustainable, that we could try and, continue to build on year in and year out, and been surrounded by great people. I've talked about Todd Connaught, Darren Blue, who's no longer with us, but was with me for 9 years, and now Paul Kirtland. They've done just a really good job at allowing us to be sustainable, because we're recruiting young men like that are up here on the table right now. So I can't say it was a plan. You look at it as a coach, and you get a contract, and you're hoping they look at you sometime during that or towards the end of it, and they say, okay, this is going in a pretty good direction, we'll give you another one. So you kind of do the same thing that you do with the players, and you live daily, monthly, yearly, and move on after that year's done into the next one.
Let's finish up with the players here, because they have practice. I think everybody knows Paul Allen, by the way. I just want to make sure. Paul, right over here. If you have other requests, please direct them to Paul. Chris in the back.
Maybe you're going to end it just for the players. We talked about sort of that long wait to get the puck drop tomorrow, but as you guys walk out of the tunnel, what's the main thought in your head as you get out there to play for a national championship?
Andre.
Keep to our identity, just do what we do, make sure we skate, and mainly enjoy the moment. I believe that we have the confidence in us, and if we just do what we do and what we have done the entire season, we'll be fine.
Benton?
Yeah, I think it goes back to what Andre just said. It's playing the game that we've been playing all year. We know that that's what's going to make us successful, and even though we're going up against a really skilled Denver team, I think I certainly like how we match up, and I think our guys are going to be extremely focused and ready to go for tomorrow.
And of course, we'll have the Maverick Machine tomorrow. That's a great name, isn't it, for a band? Maverick Machine in the back.
Josh Siegel, College Hockey News. For Benton, I mean, obviously you're new to this program this year. What's kind of been the difference in this team? What makes this team so special compared to one that was kind of struggling that you were in?
Yeah, I mean, we came out here. We all went down to Mankato last summer to work out together for 5 weeks, and I think even from that time on, it was just the attitude in the room was a little different. I certainly think that comes from the culture that the players before me and Coach Hastings have built, and it just revolves year in and year out as more guys come in. They get acclimated to what the program means to the state and what the program means to the city of Mankato and to the students here, and I think that's just been the biggest thing is just the attitude in the locker room and the support we get throughout the community.
All right, guys, we'll let you go. I know we got to get ready for practice. Thank you very much. Best of luck tomorrow night. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
And we will continue on, Jimmy, with your questions for Coach Hastings.
Thanks. Jim Conley from USCHO. Mike, when you look at Denver on tape, what do you see as maybe the 1-2 biggest challenges that you know you're going to have to deal with tomorrow night?
You know what, their ability to transition the puck they do a really good job defending, as I mentioned earlier, but then their ability from their back end to get the puck from their stick up to their forwards and then getting up and supporting it. They play with a lot of confidence. They like to possess a puck when they get inside the offensive zone. You look at the goal that was scored the other day in overtime, created turnover, get into the corner, and they attack the net. They're substance-based. They've got depth, and I just think they've got a certain swagger about them when they get a puck, and they pursue it when they don't have it. And so, we're going to have to go out and make plays against this team, knowing that that team is going to defend with an attitude. And so there's a reason they're playing on Saturday, and it's because they're good.
Mark?
Mark Kisla, Denver Post. I admit, I haven't had the pleasure of being to Mankato. What does this team mean to that community?
You know what, I'm from northern Minnesota, and so when I grew up, you thought hockey died in the Twin Cities. It wasn't anywhere south of that. And then as I went to high school and played junior hockey down in Rochester, and then in Austin, Minnesota, which is in the southern part of the state, same city that Bobby Motzko is from, what I've seen over the last 10 years is just a growth, all the way from our grassroots. We hosted Hockey Day in Minnesota, which I've mentioned. The one thing that was really unique about that is I think there was over 60 teams, youth involved, that were able to go skate on that ice sheet outdoor. And with what the Minnesota Wild has done in integrating everybody in the state, not just the Iron Range, not just the Twin Cities, but the southern part of the state, and awarding our local organizing committee an opportunity to show ourselves, and then that committee stepping up and knocking it out of the park as far as providing an environment for everybody, men, women, girls, boys, everybody in the community to enjoy a little piece of what this great game brings in our state, in Mass. I just think it continues to grow, and it's on a course that's going north. And I think there's a lot of people benefiting from it. You're seeing our youth numbers grow from mites all the way up. And I just think when you can become part of the fiber of the community at growing a game like that, everybody can enjoy. And our buildings become a place where, I think people come to gather, and then there's a hockey game there, which I think is pretty unique.
Austin, Minnesota. Way to bring in Austin. Lou Vero, one of our great coaches in the country, used to coach in Austin. Dan, and then John.
Dan Rubin from U.S. College Hockey Online. Coach, I wanted to cycle back to Ryan talking about growing up as his first memory being from the Bulldogs. What's it like as a coach recruiting a player, and what are those conversations like when you sit down and you're convincing, the coaching fraternity is not very big. And in Minnesota, nevertheless, you're recruiting a coach's son to play. What are those conversations like, and how does that develop?
Pretty unique situation here right now. You get Don Lucia in the back of the room, and I sat in Don's living room recruiting his son, Tony. And I learned at that time it's more important to recruit the mother. So in both instances, I tried to read the room a little bit. I went to the moms, and it was no different with Ryan. Called, my assistants had been doing a great job, as they do, at identifying quality players, and they kept banging the drum for Ryan. And we were all under the assumption that he was going to probably be a Bulldog. And so finally, they gave it to me enough in our recruiting meetings. They said, hey, are you going to call him or are we? And I said, I'll give him a call. And I called Sandy, and I just said, hey, listen, I want to ask you something. Is he going to be a Bulldog or not? And he goes, you know what? I think he wants to do his own thing. And that's what he said. Is it okay if I call Wendy? And I said, and she came on the visit. And, I was fortunate. Scott gave me an opportunity, and I think it was in 2005 when he was the World Junior coach in Grand Forks. And I worked with David Quinn there. And Ryan was just, I don't even know how old he was, but he wasn't very old. And he was around that tournament the whole time. And so I was able to get to know that family. And as you said, our community, the hockey community, is so small, you cross paths a lot. And so when we knew there was an opportunity that he was going to look elsewhere other than Bulldog country, we went all in. And Wendy came on the visit, and as you can tell, he's a pretty special young man. And I'm a big believer of coaches' kids because they grow up in that environment and they understand there's some good things to it and there's some bad things to it, hard things that you have to be accountable, and it's okay to be accountable and hold people that way. And we've been blessed to have Ryan part of our program.
John.
Thank you. John Powers, Boston Globe. Mike, a number of guys have already left early from other programs to go to the pros, and we expect Michigan and the Gophers may also lose a number of guys. What kind of benefit has it been to you that you don't have a whole lot of draftees, in the knowledge you're probably going to have the team in October that you think you're going to have?
Well, hey, I think that's changing a little bit, only because of the free agency window, and somebody comes in. I've had to answer this before. When a kid's drafted, he's got to deal with one team. A free agent, we're getting to 32, and do they have a spot for him? Are they willing to clear a spot for him? And so we've been dealing with that here over the last few years, where on a yearly basis we have free agents that have opportunities to sign NHL contracts. And so really it's just the open line of communication. They're the ones that are driving the bus. We want to be there and support them and make sure that we're trying to help them in that decision-making process. But at the end of the day, it's pretty difficult to look at a young man and tell him he can't go chase his dream. And so, really it's just about trying to educate him on what's out there and what their opportunities are, and then support them in whatever decision they make.
In the back.
Mike McMahon, College Hockey News. Coach, talking to a couple of other coaches in the CCHA about your team, everybody brought up kind of the same theme and said they had not played an opponent all year that had so much buy-in from top to bottom on the roster. And I'm sure that didn't start this year. Was there a team in the past, or maybe probably more specifically a leadership group in the past that you had that where you felt like, okay, this turned the corner and we're starting to get that buy-in?
It's a great question, and I had talked about this just earlier today. I'll give one guy a lot of credit who's no longer with our program, but still a friend of the program, and I get to see him a couple times a year. He's got his own family now, and Uriah Hayes. My first year, and I've gone back and I've apologized to him multiple times for being probably as demanding or as hard as I was on him on exactly what we're talking about. I had a question the other day about the last time we played Denver and what that history has been, and it was a while ago, and it didn't go very well. Well, Hazer was on that team, and it was soon after that I asked him, are you a part of this team, or is this your team as a leader? And he stepped up. He said, it's my team, and he led by example, by holding people accountable. And I'm very thankful and blessed that I had someone like Uriah Hayes that was strong enough for a young coach who probably pushed a little too hard to not wilt. He stood in there and took what I was giving him, and just has become an unbelievable father, mentor for some of our young guys, because he signed a free agent deal after that to go play in San Jose, and has just done a great job of flying the flag for our program. But I would probably give him the credit, because I was able to go back and explain that to the next group that was coming in, what he gave up for the betterment of the club.
Okay, we'll take one last one here, and then we got to let Hasty get to his team.
Joshvina Shaw, College Hockey News. So obviously having previous Frozen Four experience is crucial, even if the atmosphere last year wasn't the same as it is now. But what have you seen from the guys in terms of their approach that's been different, and how beneficial do you think that's been for them?
The time that I saw it become a little bit different was when we won the regional in Loveland. There was a little bit of a euphoria after that game, like, wow, we did it. This year when we won the regional, I just sensed a little bit different attitude from our guys. Had multiple individuals in that celebration come up and say, hey, you know what, we're not done yet. We want to get to where we're trying to get to this Saturday. That was a big difference, and I think that's that experience where I think they were excited about getting here a year ago. And I think there's a little bit more focus on getting to the top instead of having this be short of what we experienced a year ago.
Mike, thanks very much.